Well, hello, everybody. And if you tuned in to the last moment that lasted for about 30 seconds, that was a disaster. So, anyways, I'm just trying to find my. Why is this not clear? Um, Find a little spot where I could chat with everybody. It is day one of the draft. It is final. The 49ers selected Georgia defensive lineman Mykel Williams. And I think it's going to be a really good move. The 49ers were very happy. John Lynch, Kyle Shanahan were very excited at their post draft press conference. And it seemed like they were worried that they weren't going to get him. They thought they were going to have to move up to number 8, where Carolina was, and they did not take him. So the 49ers, I'm going to grab my notebook real quick. 49ers got their guy, and Kyle Shanahan told a really funny story, and I posted it on my shorts or the videos about how he told his family, Mandy and his family, who they were going to get, who they wanted to get, but they didn't think he was going to be there. And John Lynch made some phone calls to try to move up. It didn't happen. They denied him, and the draft worked out. It all kind of fell into place. They got their guy, and he is a guy who sets the edge. He's a guy who has kind of underrated pass rush skills, but he's a run stopper. I watched some highlights of him. He has some quickness. He's got a lot of motor. I think he's going to be a great bookend for Nick Bosa. And you look at the drafts that they've had, they haven't taken a defensive lineman since 2020, and that was Javon Kinlaw. Before that, they were on a run of defensive linemen. It was Eric Armstead. It was DeForest Buckner. It was Solomon Thomas. It was Nick Bosa, and then Javon Kinlaw. And, it didn't work out with Javon Kinlaw. And you look at everybody that's left on the team, it's Nick Bosa. That's it. So thanks for joining me. Hello. This is a guy that's going to change how the defense can stop the run. They couldn't stop the run at all last year, and Mykel Williams will change that. He's going to fly out. He's going to meet the media tomorrow at about 2:30. So we'll get to talk to him face to face. We did have a little bit of a Zoom call with him, and it's kind of awkward. He's on a screen, and he's like about this big, and it's a screen with all of us on it, and we're all standing there facing the camera. So it's like he can see all of us, but I don't think he could tell who was talking. But it was good to talk to him. He is very excited. He said he felt like he connected with the 49ers when he had his 30 visit. So he was one of the 30, came out, loved the team, and loved everybody he talked to. He couldn't think of a guy in particular, a person in particular who he thought he connected with the most. He thought every person that he ran into at the facility was great. So I think it's just one of those guys that they connected with. It's a guy who is who the 49ers locker room is. He's a leader. He's only 20 years old also, which is crazy. 20 years old, playing against guys who are 23, 24 years old in college and just dominating them. He's a great run stuffer. He only had 14 sacks in his college career, but really, really good edge setting. So I think while I don't think there's any questions about his statistics. He also played with a bum ankle. He played with a high ankle sprain all through his final season at Georgia. And so, I think that counts for his toughness. Kirby Smart, Mitch Muschamp also talked to John Lynch and said, hey, he played with a really bad high ankle sprain, wanted to get out there with his guys. And even Mykel said, hey, I probably shouldn't have done it, but I really wanted to be out there with his guys. That's the thing, right? He sacrificed playing in pain for wanting to be out there with his guys during a game. So he played. He didn't have as good of statistics as he had previously, but he's a guy that just has a ton of motor. He's 6'5", he's 265 pounds, kind of akin to what Eric Armstead and DeForest Buckner were on the interior of the line. Now, he's a 4-eye technique guy, which is just inside of the tackle. So Georgia used him on the interior a lot. Yeah, so Alden Smith, very similar. Maybe that's correct. kind of like that. But also, John Lynch said he's very similar to like Arden Key and Charles Omenihu. Let's not forget those two guys had really good production when they were with the Niners for that time. So I think, this is rebuilding the defensive front from the ground up. This is a guy who's going to be productive. I think immediately he's going to be on the field. He's a guy who can play a ton of snaps. So I think this is a great pick for the 49ers. And I think, the 49ers didn't think they were going to get him. I think he was a guy that they really wanted from day one. Robert Saleh stood on the table for him. Chris Kasarik stood on the table for him. So not only just, yes, he is a defensive lineman through and through, and he can play on the inside, he can play on the outside. So we asked him, how familiar are you with wide nine? Will you be able to do it? And he's like, I am so excited. He is excited. And let me tell you what he said. He goes, I love it, man. I'm excited. I feel like how I play on the edges, being in the wide nine the whole game, the whole time will allow me to make more plays and allow me to be a better player overall and have a better career. He's already thinking about his career. Like he's already thinking this is a good career move for me. I think that's pretty cool. But yes, 20 years old. He's going to be, John Lynch said he's a core player. So you think core players, you think like Eric Armstead, DeForest Buckner, Nick Bosa, the guys who are on the roster now, Nick Bosa, Fred Warner, Deommodore Lenoir. He's one of those core players. That's what they see him as. So I think this is a win for the 49ers. I think it's going to be a great pick. I don't think he hasn't had any health issues other than this high ankle sprain. And those are kind of fluky things. It's not because of conditioning. It's not for anything like that. Yes, I saw Eric there too. He announced the number 2 pick for the Jacksonville Jags. So fun to see him out there. Yes, Eric has. Robert Saleh absolutely approved. Robert Saleh said he's the best edge setter in college. He's the best edge setter in this draft. So they're all impressed with him, and they couldn't ask too many questions about him. They did have him in for the visit, and I think they just fell in love with him. They love him. He's 20. He's a leader. All the elements that I think the 49ers look for in a player, that's what they got in Mykel Williams. So, it's interesting to kind of learn how the process goes. I mean, John and Kyle said, yeah, we were willing to move up. They were willing to move up and they were denied. They couldn't do it. So this is the element that was missing last year from the 49ers defensive line. This is a guy who can play on the inside. I mean, they got rid of Javon Hargrave. They got rid of Malik Collins. They got rid of Leonard Floyd. And their interior guys are Kevin Givens and Evan Anderson and Jordan Elliott. So they needed to add guys that can play on the inside. But then also Yetur Gross-Matos on the outside. And then also Mykel Williams will be playing on the outside and the inside. So he can play wherever they put him. He's really excited to work with Robert Saleh. Really excited. We asked him about working with Nick Bosa. He's like, oh my God, I'm so excited. I have so many questions. So, Nick Bosa is a guy who I think likes to coach up his group. And I think this is a great opportunity for a guy who really wants to learn from Nick Bosa. The fact that he was like, I have so many questions, I think that says a lot for who he is. He wasn't at the draft. He was in Atlanta with his family, so he's going to fly out and we'll meet him tomorrow. So yeah, I think it's good. John and Kyle tried training up. Yep, no dice. Still got him 11. So yeah, Kyle joked with John at the press conference, and he's like, yeah, go get him at 8. And then he was 9. He's like, and then he fell to 11. He's like, see, we didn't need to trade. It worked out. But it was good to see how it all worked out. They got their guy, and I don't think they would, obviously, I've talked to some people who are kind of on the inside, and they said behind Abdul Carter, this is the second best guy. And I think that's, there are a couple other guys taken before him, but as far as what the 49ers are looking for, Abdul Carter was number one. Mykel Williams was number two. So Grant went 2 spots later. Yeah, but they had their guy. This is a guy who I think he can be versatile. He's young. He's 20. He wants to learn. He's coachable. I think that's the thing we don't know. When guys come in for their 30, how are they? Are they coachable? Are they wanting to learn? Are they eager? Are they excited? You don't know. I mean, this is why Shedeur Sanders has fallen out of the first round, right? He didn't go to Green Bay, so he's, at home. Just it sucks. I mean, I don't wish anything bad for any of these prospects. I love watching this happen because, this is dreams coming true for so many guys, and I think it's so much fun to watching the guys come out onto the stage and be excited. So I think it's a really cool night. Heard rumblings that Mykel Williams may have gone to the Saints. So, I don't have the draft up here right now, but the 49ers have some more work to do. I think they are going to need another defensive lineman. This draft is incredibly deep with defensive lineman talent, so I think that's good for them. They also need to get a linebacker, kind of in that place where Dre Greenlaw was. You look at some of these guys. There are some guys out there. Pooh Paul is a guy. There's Charles Davis said Danny Stutzman out of Oklahoma is a thumper, late round guy, probably day 3. So there is talent out there. So I know they like D Winters, but the comment that John Lynch said, either at the combine or at the annual meeting, he's got to stay healthy. He's got to play better, and that was something that they called out George Kittle for after his first year. He's got to stay healthy. He's got to be able to play all 17 games. So, and he turned it around. George Kittle now healthy. Maybe we'll miss a game or two for a season, but generally really healthy. So he changed his recovery routine, and that has really helped a lot. We can wait on DT. Let's go CB or linebacker. I think linebacker, unless it's a true nickel corner, because you've got Deommodore Lenoir and you have Renardo Green, and both those guys are playing really well. I really think it's linebacker. Because you've got Fred Warner, but you need someone to play next to him, and you need a guy who's young and is going to play for a long time, like Mykel Williams. I mean, the fact that he's 20 and that John Lynch said he's a core player, I think really says a lot. So yes, there are a lot more picks tomorrow. It should be an exciting day. So they have pick 43 in round 2. They have pick 75 in round 3 and pick 100 in round 3. So a lot of picks the rest of the time. They have 2 4th-round picks, 2 5th-round picks, and 3 7th-round picks. So, but tomorrow, 43, 75, and 100. I think they all think it's a successful day. Chris Kasarik, Robert Saleh, these are guys. This is a guy that they really wanted. So I think everybody in the building is happy. They said they were hanging on to everything, barely hanging on, hoping that they were going to get their guy at 11. And if you look at his stats, they're not really impressive. But what it is his effort, his motor. I think also when you look at the fact that it's Robert Saleh and Chris Kasarik, they're going to get everything possible out of this guy, and they're going to help him be the best, absolutely the best possible player he can be. So I think Robert Saleh and Chris Kasarik are already thinking of ways they're going to be able to use him. But I think it's a great day for the 49ers defense, and especially the defensive line. So do you guys have any questions at all you want me to answer? Looking at the draft, I do think they need to go linebacker. I think they need to go defense. They have spent a lot of picks going offense. I don't think they go offensive line until later. Maybe one of the later picks. They do need a left guard, but I think they're happy with Trent Williams, Jake Brendel, Dominic Pooney, and Colton McKivitz. There is going to be some competition, but I think they're happy with them. So I think left guard, yes, maybe they add some depth or a swing tackle later on, but really I think they go defensive tackle. Mykel Williams is a guy who can play on the outside, so then he can play on the inside as well. They need a guy who's just going to be a defensive tackle and stuff the run in the center and also get up and get after the quarterback. So I do like the fact that Mykel Williams is not just he's more of an edge setter. Like, he doesn't let anyone get outside of him. I watched some film of highlights of him,